Well, good morning and thanks for joining me. You know, yesterday Marla did something that saddened me. We were having a meal of leftovers, much like this here, and she took out all the Tupperware containers and she opened the lids and she applied the sniff test on some of them. You know what I'm talking about. She lifted the lids, anything that didn't smell good, and she threw it away. And unfortunately, one of these containers had shrimp in it. Now, I love shrimp. And shrimp aren't particularly cheap. But what had happened is this container of shrimp had got pushed to the back of the fridge and we had forgotten about it. So when she applied the sniff test to it, she had to throw it out. And this is a scene that is repeated all around the country. And it's kind of sad when you stop and think of it, because the food that ends up in our garbage represents a big investment. There's the investment of buying the food in the first place, which is getting more and more expensive. Then there's the investment of preparing the meal. Then there's the memories that we had at mealtime. But it has to be done. We have to throw this food away because it's not healthy. Now in our house, Marla does the sniff test because her nose is better than mine. But imagine if Marla came to your house to do the sniff test on things in your fridge. I bet that would be somewhat uncomfortable. But now imagine if it wasn't just Marla. Imagine if it was Tawny Records and Marla. And beyond throwing things that just didn't smell good, now Tawny's going through and throwing away anything that has a trace of gluten in it. Now add to that if another person came that was super health conscious and they were trying to get you on a track to eating healthier, and imagine that person going through and throwing out anything that wasn't organic or anything that had processed sugar, what would be left in your fridge? I mean, this is your food, your investment. You spent the money at the grocery store. You spent the time in your kitchen. I wonder if all these folks got done going through your fridge, what would be left over? And I imagine that isn't a pleasant thought. You know, the Bible tells us that one day all of our investments, all of our projects, all of our works will be evaluated by someone else. Someone else will be applying the sniff test to everything in our fridge. And that anything that doesn't smell like Jesus will be thrown out. The time that we spent for our own entertainment, the things we did so other people would like us more, the projects we worked on, the kingdoms that we built so we would feel good about ourselves, all of it, if it doesn't smell like Jesus, will be thrown out. And then what? What will we be left with? In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, the Apostle Paul takes this same principle, the principle of judgment and the coming judgment and the rewards of God, and applies it to a construction metaphor. Listen to what he writes in verses 11 through 15. For no other foundation can anyone lay than which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now, if anyone builds on this foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test each one's work and what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, yet so as through fire. And we can be sure of one thing. This day is coming. As uncomfortable as it seems, this day of testing, or this day of the test, the sniff test, is coming. So knowing that it is, the best way to begin preparing for it is to invest in things and invest in ways where our investment won't be thrown away. Invest in ways you can be proud of. Better yet, invest in ways that He can be proud of. Invest in things that smell of Jesus. Have a great day. Ciao.